Hi there mate, how's it going? It's Benji here, and this is a breakdown and review of Yellowstone Season 4, Episode 4, titled Winning or Learning. We'll begin with what I think is the most important storyline from this episode, which pertains to the question about who attacked the Duttons. Early in the morning, John and Casey ride to visit the spot where John's father passed away. John calls this the Rock. I remember a flashback in Season 2 during which we saw John's father pass away, so we are aware of this spot's importance. John says this is the family's graveyard and goes on to mention Riggins, the man who apparently put out the hit on the Duttons. John learned about this in Episode 3 thanks to Rainwater and Mo, who interrogated the man that put together the team to go after the Duttons, Checkers. Checkers is gone now, but Riggins is alive and well, albeit in prison. That's why John needs Casey to meet with Jamie and arrange Riggins' interrogation. This is a test because if Jamie hesitates when Casey mentions Riggins, Jamie might have something to do with the hit. If he is helpful on the other hand and agrees to interview Riggins, he is probably clean. In the meantime, Jamie is enjoying the view on his new ranch, saying to his biological father that this is the first thing he's ever owned in his 41-year-old life. I've usually been able to sympathize with Jamie over the course of this show's run, because she's always seemed like a man without purpose, at least on a personal level. Sure, he wanted to serve John and the Yellowstone ranch, but that was the only thing that defined him. So seeing him on his own ranch here made me happy. What made me happier though was the scene between Casey and Jamie. This show's over-the-top conversations and dialogue irritate me sometimes, but this chat between the two brothers was the best moment of the season so far because their chemistry was impeccable and it genuinely felt like I was watching two brothers catch up. Casey's a little bit displeased with his brother because he hasn't visited them once after the attacks, so Casey wonders why. Jamie explains that he's had to keep his distance while he protected them behind the scenes. He provided police protection for John for 2 months. He made sure the investigations into what happened at the ranch and Casey's shenanigans in the public didn't go anywhere. And by not contacting the family at all, Jamie made sure that any allegations of collusion would be unfounded. He could say, I am an open book, I have not called or met them once, and he could prove this. With that in mind, he did what he thought was best for the family behind the scenes. This still doesn't fully explain why federal agencies like the ATF are sitting idly by while chaos unfolds, but at least we know the reason behind the lack of action by local authorities. When Casey mentions Riggins, Jamie says he'll put together an interview after contacting Riggins' lawyer. Jamie will be there personally with a homicide detective, making sure that everything is above board. And it looks like this paves the way for Jamie to patch things up with John. But Jamie gets a detailed file on Riggins toward the end of the episode, and the file contains the names of Riggins' former cellmates, one of which is Garrett Randall, Jamie's biological father. Jamie is stunned, but I was not, because this is something I expected as I mentioned in my previous videos. That said, I'm starting to feel like Garrett might be a red herring. Maybe someone picked Riggins on purpose because he used to share a cell with Garrett, which meant that John would focus on Garrett when he learned about this. So this could be a ploy, a misdirection by the real culprit to distract John. I don't know if that's the case, but I hope it is. This main plotline had me glued to my screen. It was the most intriguing aspect of the episode, and I was glad to see Jamie finally get some proper screen time this season, as he had been largely absent up until this episode. And now he's facing a dilemma. Will he choose his biological father Garrett, or the man that raised him, John? And Jamie continues to be the best written character on the show, and Wes Bentley, the actor portraying Jamie, is doing a great job. Kelly Riley is doing a good job as well, despite her lines getting more ridiculous every single week. In this one, she tries to get some action for his father, mentions stuff like dry humping to the market equities CEO Caroline, and frankly I don't want to go into more detail. I don't mind profanity on TV shows, but it gets incredibly boring and irritating if a character swears every time they open their mouth. It is simply unnecessary and makes Beth lame at times. Anyway, Beth meets up with Caroline this week, and after they exchange some blows, Caroline offers Beth a job. Beth isn't interested unless she is given a controlling stake in Schwartz & Meyer, the company she used to work for, which is now owned by Market Equities. Beth's plan is to take revenge on her former boss, Bob Schwartz, because he sold her out. In exchange, Beth will help Market Equities build the new Aspen in Montana, so she'll turn a portion of Montana into a holiday destination. If she does that, the Dutton Ranch will remain untouched because Market Equities will not need anything else from the Duttons. I do think this is an interesting offer for both parties, and if Beth can get this offer in writing, she should take it, and I think she will. As long as Market Equities ensures that the Dutton Ranch will remain untouched, this deal is a no-brainer, but we'll see if Beth will get the offer in writing. By the way, I thought Caroline was great during this exchange. She had some weird quips as well, but they felt more realistic coming from her. Her lines were more natural, while Beth's lines were written solely to show off her badass, no-fudge-given attitude. Anyway, I'm growing to like Caroline. On the other hand, I'm still not liking the way Monica is written. We see her helicopter parenting as she bathes Tate, who I think is like 9 or 10 years old. I mean, come on guys, I get having unlikable characters, but Monica is just too much to handle. At least Casey finally finds a solution to their problem as he takes Monica and Tate to her grandfather's home. Casey will be away from the ranch for a while, and then he will commute back and forth between the ranch and the reservation. This decision clearly impacts John because he liked having his son around all the time. The utterly insane Buckle Bunny storyline is still going on somehow, and things boil over between Lloyd and Walker, which results in a fistfight. I just don't understand why Lloyd is obsessing over a woman that could be the same age as his daughter, despite the fact that they've never even had a real relationship. Rip takes care of Lloyd afterwards because fighting on the ranch is forbidden, and Lloyd is completely broken down. He is humiliated after getting his ass kicked by his best friend in front of all the ranch hands. Lloyd was a pure badass up until this storyline, and I didn't like the way they treated him. I also hated the fact that Rip didn't kick out Maya and Laramie after this. It just doesn't make any sense. We also check in on Jimmy and Travis for a bit as they attend some horse shows. As you might remember, Travis is now representing the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch, and he wins tens of thousands of dollars in just a few days. That was what John had in mind when he put this together, and things could get even better in the future if they can sell some of the horses because they have the potential to go for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that's the point of that storyline. The scenes involving Jimmy and Travis were fun in my opinion, even though I understand they might not be everybody's cup of tea. My favorite scene featuring them was the one which showed Travis give Jimmy some advice because Travis was likable for once. And at the end of this, Jimmy finally arrives at the Four Sixes Ranch in Texas to begin his new life. I think this week's episode was the best one we've had this season. I enjoyed the balance between the main plot and side stories. Jamie's return was absolutely great. Beth was a little bit annoying. I like the direction the Market Equities storyline is taking. And yeah, that's about it. What did you think about this episode? Leave your comments down below. Like this video if you've enjoyed this breakdown. And subscribe for more movie reviews and TV show breakdowns. That's it for now. Take care and see you in the next video.